Jackie on Big Breakfast. Today FM, today's hit music.
Hey, I'm Pauline.
And I'm Alan. Tune in to The Breakfast Show on Today FM with Pauline and I every weekday morning.
From 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Today FM, today's hit music.
Tonight, all registered political parties submit nominations before deadline today. FLP leader Mahendra Chaudhry signs all FLP nominations despite him not being eligible to stand for elections. And Sudelpa remains unmoved on the issue of common identity. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. All registered political parties have successfully lodged nominations for their candidates to contest the September election. However, in a strange move, Fiji Labour Party leader Mahendra Chaudhry has signed the nominations for all FLP candidates despite his conviction by the High Court and his ineligibility to stand in the elections. Chanel Sivan was at the elections office today.
Ladies and gentlemen, the nominations for the 2014 general elections is now closed. Naka.
By midday, election supervisor Mohammed Saneem had received nominations from 7 political parties. The elections office now proceeds with verification to confirm whether all nominations comply with the electoral decree. Anyone who hasn't filed their submissions has missed out.
We wish to also inform that this week we intend to have the draw of the national candidates list, and that draw will happen as soon as the decisions on the appeals and objections are finalized, and we will inform everybody accordingly.
The review, when does that end?
There is 3 days time. The review has to be, the appeal has to be decided within 3 days, and it commences tomorrow.
The elections office will release the names of candidates in tomorrow's day list to allow for objections to be filed. Anyone who wants to object will need to fill in a form and pay a fee to the elections office. Interestingly, Fiji Labour Party leader Mahendra Chaudhry, knowing of his conviction and ineligibility, has nominated himself as the person who will lead the FLP into the elections. He has signed the nominations of 42 candidates.
I filed my nomination as well.
Okay.
We also filed it.
Yes. The fight's on. The fight's not over yet. Yeah. They can try as hard as they want to. I'll keep fighting them.
The fact that Chaudhry has a conviction throws into question whether any of the names signed under his name will be valid. This could possibly disqualify the Fiji Labour Party candidates. The last political party to make it through was the People's Democratic Party. General Secretary Aman Ravindra Singh arrived at the elections office minutes before the deadline and lodged 50 nominations for the PDP.
We have submitted 50 names and we have completed the process. We are now waiting for the Supervisor of Elections Office to contact us, and now everything goes into the objection period. So we will wait to be informed by the Elections Office as to if there are any objections, then we will respond to it accordingly. Otherwise, we will just wait to be directed as to what happens next.
Pio Tambaiwalu, the General Secretary of the Social Democratic Liberal Party, has also lodged 50 nominations.
The objection period ends at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Any comments on that?
No comments. Yeah, I mean, it's there. I think it's there pretty clearly in electoral decree, so we'll await that one. Yeah.
Confident of all the 50 nominations?
Yes. I think we are pretty confident of all 50 getting in.
Newly registered One Fiji General Secretary Sithivya Nicolo also handed in the names of party candidates this morning.
We've nominated 14.
14?
Yes.
What could be the reason for not nominating the whole 50?
There's various reasons. Because firstly, there are a few who could not get their documents prepared on time, and we could not get some into Suva on time. So those were mostly the factors that affected.
The National Federation Party was one of the first parties to submit the names of its candidates today, followed by the Fiji United Freedom Party. Fiji First submitted its nominations last Friday. Roshika Deo and businessmen from Nuku village Umesh Chand have applied as independent candidates. The nomination process was done in the presence of 2 election observers at the elections office. All decision and objections will be finalized by Friday. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
The Social Democratic Liberal Party cannot give a clear answer on whether the party supports a common identity for all Fijians. Party leader Rotemu Mukepa appeared live on FBC TV's For the Record last night, taking a public stand for the first time since Laisini Ngarase's controversial comments about equal citizenship. Ellen Stahls has more.
The SODELPA leader says there is no easy answer to the question about common identity.
Yes or no, would you agree to all Fiji citizens? If there were consultations, yes or no, would you agree to all Fiji citizens being called Fijian?
If there were proper consultations, right around... No, I cannot answer very simply like you want me to do. And it has to go through the proper Fijian forum.
Rotemumu says the discussions for common identity would only take place within the indigenous community.
Because if you read the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, it does say there that the indigenous, they come through as being lacking in education, in better, higher education. Also, their health issues are different from other people that live in the same country. And there are also social issues.
Quoting the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People, Rotemumu says there is a need for the Itauke to be protected. But FBC News can establish that the United Nations Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People does not say this. Rotemumu also says that SODELPA is looking at getting rid of the 2013 Constitution.
All right, there's the 2013 Constitution. This will be determined once you get into Parliament. And we are going to take this case through into the... If and when the Court of Appeal or the Supreme Court determines that the 2013 Constitution is the Constitution to go with, then we will rest our case there.
However, the program will certainly be remembered for being an evening of many evasive and contradictory answers.
I wouldn't believe that I'm more equal than you. You might be more equal than me. I'm saying that we are all equal before the law. But some areas you have to look after the interests of, I wouldn't say endangered species, because that would be taking it too far. But I would say that in the country where they are anybody is indigenous, they have to be looked after in that particular country.
A replay of For the Record show will be aired on Wednesday night after the news. Ellen Stahls, FBC News.
Meanwhile, with the verification process now underway, Electoral Commission Chairperson Chen Ban-yang says the Commission has the final say on all nominations.
If it disallows, then the candidate concerned can then appeal. And if he allows the listing to go through, then obviously people on the outside, registered voters, can object as well, and their objection will be considered as well. And then, so it comes it comes from the supervisory election. If he rejects it, it comes in as a form of a type of appeal, so to speak, or review. I think the word they use in the electoral decree is a review to the Electoral Commission. Yeah.
And there's no other steps after
that. The decree provides, and that it is the Electoral Commission's decision is final.
A decision on all appeals and objections will be made by August 22nd. After the break, Climate Change Conference talks about village relocations in Dakandrove.
Bula FM nang banduan na serane wasining ona ni batara ni sibiti ko bekenda na diwa en na tini na miniti na may pakuriti ora bengrabe na nontan nonongo kanda na dabati ko ani no na kaloko en ay kabende de bobi na teng bali ni may dabati ko na wani matakabo kan lib serti ko na biser tali oni na namaka do batati may kinen na kenan daw ro di kanamaki Bula binaka ayo salamilawa do bataki ya wana batara na wani dio na kaloko moni tiki na barumbuka en Bula FM nang bandua en sere
Welcome back. This is FBC News. A $35 million biomass plant will be built at Navutu in Singatoka to produce renewable energy. The joint venture between Tropic Wood Industries Limited and Korean company Gimco is an important step in reducing our dependence on imported fuel, which costs around $1.2 billion annually. Christopher Chand reports.
Renewable energy is the way forward. This biomass plant is a boost to Fiji's target of achieving 100% renewable energy by 2030. The groundbreaking ceremony was held today.
Today, over 60% of electricity supply in Fiji is generated from renewable energy sources, mainly from hydropower, with much smaller contributions from biomass, wind and solar energy.
Biomass is already successful in Korea. Its importance in a developing country like ours is invaluable.
It's been a work in progress for the past 2 years. It hasn't happened overnight.
Through this project, we want to assist FEA and Fiji to achieve the renewable energy target for the country.
This project, once up and running, will make Fiji the leader in biomass energy production in the Pacific.
Depending on the efficiency of the plant, it can be anywhere between 100,000 to 150,000 green metric tons. That's a lot of biomass, sustainably, year in, year out.
The biomass plant is expected to be completed before December 2016. It will have the capacity to generate 10 megawatts of electricity, giving Fijians a new source of renewable energy. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
The Ministry for Women is concerned with the rise in teenage pregnancies during the first 6 months of this year. 64 cases were recorded up to June compared to 30 cases for the same period last year. Savara Tambor has more details.
In April alone, there were 57 cases of teenager pregnancies, the highest figure ever recorded on a monthly basis.
It is very worrying because it means there are teenagers out there who are going to be affected. Their education is going to be affected and their employment opportunities will be affected. So they'll be in addition to the women, the vulnerable women that will have to be supported by the ministry later on in their lives.
The Medical Services Pacific is working with the ministry to strengthen the outreach of reproductive health services. This program encourages safe sex practices.
We do promote family planning and birth spacing and provide free contraceptives. We raise awareness also among teenagers, particularly girls, that it's important that if you're going to have sex, that you practice safe sex and you protect yourself from disease. And
cultural boundaries still prevent a large portion of Fiji's population from talking openly about issues such as sexual health and teenage pregnancies. This makes the ministry's work harder.
It's the topic of reproductive health, which is a taboo topic usually. But I think that our population now is, the older population now, the parents are educated, but they need to be encouraged.
Dr. Chikulubeni says parents play a huge role in helping curb teenage pregnancies and need to have frank discussions with their children. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
Communities affected by climate change are sharing their experiences at a 3-day conference in Suva. Stakeholders are highlighting issues faced when moving families due to climate change. Organized by the Pacific Conference of Churches, the conference aims to raise awareness on climate change, consider existing local, national and regional mechanisms to help affected communities. Vunindongolo village in Dakaunrove Vanulevu was relocated at the beginning of the year, and village headman Sailosi Ramatu says climate change had a drastic effect on them.
Climate change had been affecting us since 1956. Since that time, our parents started to relocate, but the sake of not influencing education and communications like that makes them not available in what they dreamed for this relocation. Since 2009, and that's where we had much impact on climate change.
Almost 30 people were relocated from the village. Fiji will get a closer look at the 17 young women vying for the Vodafone Hibiscus crown with their first public judging tonight. FBC News spoke to a few of the Hibiscus hopefuls about some of the issues they are advocating for. Maggie Boyle tells us more.
Crowds flocked to Albert Park today, taking advantage of the culinary delights and the accompanying free entertainment.
For this year's Vodafone Fiji Hibiscus, my platform is based on child abuse. I'd like to promote a message to each and every child out there that they do not have to be defined by their circumstances, and with the right opportunities, training and support, children of abuse can rise above what has happened and still succeed in life.
With the Queen's first public judging tonight, FBC News spoke to a few of the other young women on the issues they will highlight.
My platform is based on women's contribution towards nation building. I believe that women do a lot, be it for the family, the society, or the nation.
To encourage every youth that they have a purpose, and I believe that our decisions or choices that we make every day help to create the future that we are going to have in the next, in tomorrow.
For the first time in Hibiscus history, contestants will present and be judged in sarong wear before donning Asian-inspired outfits. The Vodafone Hibiscus Festival has truly arrived, from the candy floss to the amusement rides. The mother of all festivals has not failed to draw the crowds, despite the less than perfect ground conditions and the overcast weather. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Monday Night Sports now, and here's Jamie with the latest.
Thanks, Jackie, and welcome back to a new week of FBC Sports. After the break, an update from Team Fiji at the Youth Olympics, a look at Nandraga's preparations for the Battle of the Giants this weekend, and Boa Kachi Rugby out to impress at Galaxy Kachi tournament that starts tomorrow. These stories and more after the break.
Saruan dulu na kaloko na Radio Fiji 1 and Domi Wiki na buongani binyano. Nisambula binaka na ngono boro taki ni rongo sere na ngono nindreko malolo. Nisambula binaka. Oye wa meli kilangi. Ninge nama kati umena nungu bengi rawi maina moni tiki na warombuka na rua kina wana kaloko na ngono ni rongo mani besana. Waki na wono na ngono ni rongo sere na Radio Fiji 1 na Domi Wiki na buongani binyano yanu.
Welcome back to FBC Sports. The Fiji Under-18 Sevens team had a bad start on day 2 of the Youth Olympics in China. They were beaten 17-12 by France this afternoon. The team was in great form yesterday, beating Japan 29-5 and thumping the USA 29-10, but that did not carry through to today's performance. Meanwhile, the girls' Fiji Hockey Under-18 team was crushed 22-0 by Argentina in its opening match yesterday. The side takes on the Netherlands tonight at 8 p.m. and Team Fiji officials say the games are a learning curve for the hockey reps.
Hockey is seeing what they probably need to do a bit better. They probably don't need to go to the venue as early, and I mean they're playing the top 4 or 5 teams in the world, so it's a tough competition. Rugby looks like they've settled in, and it's great to watch. The crowd is really enjoying watching the Fiji team play.
Meanwhile, weightlifters Pao Manganga and Ulina Sangone will also be competing tonight. The Rewa Galaxy Kachi Rugby tournament starts tomorrow with young ruggers from around the country ready to showcase their skills in the capital. Making a return for its second year in the tournament is Mbua, who travelled all the way from Vano Levo on Friday, carrying the hopes of their province. Josephine Navula visited them in camp today.
These young ruggers took to the grounds to prepare for the Kachi Rugby tournament that is kick-starting tomorrow. The teachers have come together to help the tiny tots in their preparations, since this is only their second year in the competition.
Some of our teachers who were teaching in Suva, they have all been transferred, some were transferred to Vonole Bunbua, and they have taken our team up a notch in terms of knowing this game of Kachi Rugby. And I know from last year's achievements, this year will be a little bit better.
Determined to bring a strong performance, the northern team is made up of athletes from all over the villages of the Mbua province.
The children that are here, they all represent all the districts of Mbua. From the top of Mbua, from Kumbulau till Lekutu.
Meanwhile, the team also received a donation of sporting gear from the Bank of South Pacific today.
We had a rather last-minute request from the Mbua Primary School's Kachi Rugby late last week, just for some assistance with balls for their preparation and for their effort this week. So we were happy to help, because we also the bank up in Mbua in the rural banking when the bauxite started and so on, and so we're very happy.
The tournament will start at the ANZ Stadium tomorrow. Josephine Nobula, FBC Sports.
With 4 days before the start of the Ink Mobile Battle of the Giants, Minnows Narunga bent on creating upsets. The former powerhouse of local football hasn't tasted success in a while now, and it wants to change that. Indra Singh has more on the side known as the tournament team.
Sweating it away in Singatoka as the Nandronga Brigade works on building a winning combination for the BOG.
We need to improve our fitness and communicate each other in the ground.
The side, which has been in a topsy-turvy form lately, is banking on the team's camaraderie to guide them in bar.
We need to get together before we need to work together and coming BOG.
And with the close connections to the people of Bar, Rawandamu says they need the fans in the stands to back the team.
We'll let the crowd come and watch us in this coming BOG.
Meanwhile, the Fiji Football Association is working on the final stretch of preparations for the second major tournament of the year.
In the last tournament now, Nandronga playing havoc on the Super Premier teams, the stronger teams. And this tournament will be no exception. All the teams will come prepared.
Nandronga's quest for a first BOG title since 2002 begins in 4 days. With the work being put in, the opponents can only count the Stallions out at their own accord. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
That was your sports for tonight. It's back to Jackie now with business.
China has donated 25 million Fijian dollars to the Fiji government as a sign of goodwill. A statement from the Information Ministry says the money was offered during bilateral talks between President Rattopelli Nailatikau and the President of China, Xi Jinping. Both leaders agreed to deepen relations, and Permanent Secretary for Foreign Affairs Amena Yavoli says talks included assistance to improving Fiji's roading network, health sector and strengthening trade and economic opportunities. The $25 million will be used for economic and sustainable development. It was cool last night due to cool winds from the south. Looking at today's conditions for Suva and Savusavu, similar as usual, it was cloudy in the morning with brief showers during the afternoon. Rest of the centres, Nandi, Lautoka, Ba and Lambasa had fairly clear weather all day. Temperatures now, Suva was coolest at 25, Nandi hit 28, Lautoka 30, Savusavu 27 and Lambasa 28. Be ready for another cool night tonight, down to 18 in many areas. Tuesday's forecast is for more of the same. Savusavu and Suva can expect afternoon scattered showers. The rest, a mainly clear day, free of rain. Mariners forecast a high-pressure system to the far southwest of Fiji directs a cool wind flow over local waters. Expect southeast winds at 15 to 20 knots with moderate to rough seas. Recapping our top stories tonight. All registered political parties have submitted nominations before deadline today. FLP leader Mahendra Chaudhry signs all FLP nominations despite him not being eligible to stand for elections. And SODELPA leader Rotemu Mukepa remains unmoved on the issue of common identity. Now time for the Fijian Speak segment.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, I do, and I think particularly on the race issue, there's a lot of debate about the use of the word Fijian and Tauke, and I think that should probably be laid to rest now. You know, it's time to all move forward and just become one Fijian.
No, I think no.
And why do you think that?
Because they have all. I mean, they have all the ideas. I mean, like, they are just trying to win, so they have their own way to campaign.
Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. And to receive the latest headlines on your mobile phone, text subspace FBC to 777. That's News Tonight. Good evening.